So is it worth purchasing something under construction? You guys always hear me talking about pre-construction sales, amazing prices, and all this good stuff. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty and let's talk, is it really worth it? What are the pros and cons? So come along with me to my office and we'll get down and talk details. Let's go. Welcome back to my office. Now we'll get down and serious and I'll give you guys all the details that you need to know. I do have a cheat sheet here with me to make sure that I touch on all the specific points. I wanted to make sure that I cover everything, so bear with me as I look at my cheat sheet. Okay, so we're discussing today the pros and cons of purchasing a unit in construction, right? Okay. So you guys see tons of offers of these amazing units in construction, amazing prices. And I know a lot of people are super interested and some people run scared. So let's go through nice and calmly the pros and cons of purchasing something in construction. First of all, let's start off with the positive. We'll go with the pros. Okay. Pros. It gives you time to pay. Most construction companies, when they have a project that comes out onto the market, it is in pre-sale. They don't even touch the land yet. They don't even do the first groundbreaking, shovel in the ground, none of that. They start with pre-construction sales. So you have plenty of time to pay. Typically, construction will take between 18 to 24 months. You might even have longer than that to pay, because if they start the pre-sales earlier, then you'll have however many months you have before they actually ground break. A lot of companies will do maybe like 3 or 4 months of pre-sales and then start the groundbreaking process and the construction process. So you might have even a little bit more than 24 months if you jump on the sale immediately when the construction company starts out with the promotions. Okay, so time to pay, that's one. Interest-free payments, that's super important. You don't need to go through a bank to get a bank loan. You don't need to go through any lender. The same construction company basically has you pay little by little during construction. So you take care of these interest-free payments during construction in order to pay for your unit. We'll get more into depth with that. Let me just hit another positive. Another positive is you typically have better pricing. So when you have a pre-construction sale, you typically have the most amazing pricing. You'll see these signs out and people will say, oh, but what happened to the unit for, only $89,000? Well, they're the first units to go because they have these amazing pre-construction sales. And of course, when they first hit the market, they're throwing out some amazing sales to get people interested in what their project is. Another positive is newer designs. So you're buying something that is brand new hot design. There's lots of competition on the market. So everyone's trying to come up with the next biggest thing. So you get a beautiful, modern, or whatever design that you like, new to the market design. Okay, those are all pros. Let me hit back at the interest-free payment plans. Since we have time here, and I know everyone has these questions, I want to make sure I'm answering your questions completely. So, interest-free payments, how does that work? Typically, this is like a side note, typically the construction company gives you an interest-free payment plan during construction. If you see a unit that you like in any one of the developments, you call me, hey Megan, I like A101, just as an example. I can go ahead and typically block that unit for you to make sure that that unit is yours, taken off the market, so you can do the reserve paperwork. And typically we have between 24 to 48 hours with just your identification. Why do I say 24 to 48? Because if a really hot project that just hit the market, they might just give you 24 hours. But we block the unit. We start on that reserve paperwork right away. What do? We fill out a reserve form, has basic information about you and the unit you'd like to reserve. We also fill out a know your client form. It's a due diligence form. It's required by law here for all purchases and sales. It's basically to get to know you and where is your money coming from. Is it from a savings account? Is it from a mortgage in your country? Is it from, an inheritance? Whatever it is, a retirement fund, whatever. So they ask basic questions, but just to make sure that everything is in order. So we fill out that paperwork and you pay the reserve. What is the reserve? Every builder is a little bit different. You'll pay anywhere from $2,000 US dollars to probably about $5,000 US dollars. What does that do? That takes your unit off the market and it gives you time to review the contract and pay the first installment. How much time do you have for that? Well, every developer is different. So you typically have between 2 weeks to a month. You do not have to use a lawyer if you are purchasing in construction, but you can, and it's recommended for you to use a lawyer to review that construction contract. So you go ahead and review the contract either yourself or with your lawyer. When you're ready to sign in the time that the developer gives you, typically 2 weeks to 1 month, then you go ahead and sign the contract. Do you need to be here in person to sign the contract? No, you do not, because it is basically a promise of sale. You can be in, for example, the United States, sign the contract and mail it down. This is not your final contract with the unit being delivered to you. This is the pre-construction contract. So you would be able to sign it in the piece of your own home and send it down here. Once the company gets it, you go ahead and you send your first installment. Your first installment typically, for example, is a 20%. I'll go ahead and put the math up here on the screen. But it's typically, let's say, a 20 or 25% of what the sales price is for the unit, minus the reserve that you already paid, because that reserve is not lost. That reserve goes towards the total of your unit. Okay, now we're in the 18 months, the 24 months, and you're paying either monthly or every 3 months. You're into your payment plan. There's no interest, but you're going to break down the percentage. Let's say about 40%. Some companies do 60%, some do 40%, some do 35%, depends on the developer. You're going to pay that amount during the 18 to 24 months. And it's going to be broken down in payments, either monthly or every 3 months. You go ahead and send your payments. You watch my Instagram. You follow up. You say, wow, my building looks amazing. Oh my God, that's my apartment. It looks so amazing. And then you get updates. You'll get updates from the developer and you'll see your complex and your unit being developed. Now, we've finally gotten to the delivery date. Once you hit the delivery date, you owe the final chunk, your final payment. Your final payment could be anywhere from 20% to 50%. It depends on the payment plan from the builder. Obviously, if you have more questions about that for specific projects, go ahead and get in touch with us. We have the payment plan for every single project. But since we're talking kind of general here, I'm giving you an idea of how that works. So this is something that people really like because you don't have to pay right away everything. You have time to pay and it's interest free. So that is why it is in the line of pros of purchasing something in construction. So we've gone through the pros. Now let's go to the cons. All right. Cons of purchasing something in construction. And everyone has heard the horror stories. I know we've heard the horror stories. And it's because purchasing in construction obviously is risk. It's a high risk. If anyone tells you that purchasing something in pre-construction is risk-free, they're lying because you're buying something that doesn't exist. So you're expecting this construction company to build what they promise, right? So of course it is risk. Now, pause right there. We do our homework here at Tropical Realty, and we do check out the developers. We check out what they've built before. We check out their company. We check out the title information for where they're building the project. We check out permits. We check out a whole bunch of stuff. And we have to get the green light first before we sell a project. At Tropical Realty, we do not sell all projects. Why? Because there's some projects that are super duper high risk, and we do not want to put our clients in that position to purchase something that either maybe doesn't finish or finishes and you don't get a title when it is delivered to you. So we are very, very careful. Now, it's always good to protect yourself even more, to use a lawyer when you're purchasing, to review that contract and make sure it is super in your favor. So, is it risky to purchase something under construction? Of course it is. Are there lots of benefits? Oh, yes. And if you do your homework and you choose the right one, it could be an amazing thing. You can get an amazing price and have a great investment. So it's not all negative, but it's good to know what the cons could be. And then, of course, do what you can to minimize those cons and minimize the risk. Okay. Another con. Another con is, and obviously we're just being super honest here, going over time. There's projects that go over time. So they say, hey, we're going to deliver to you December 2026. And you're like, oh, that doesn't look like it's going to make it. So sometimes projects go over time. And that's why it's also good to use a lawyer in your contract. For contracts here in construction in the Dominican Republic, there is a grace period for 6 months. Those 6 months say that based off of, whatever it is, weather conditions or whatever, there's a grace period of 6 months that the developer can basically dig into and still be on time, even though they dig into those 6 months. Now, why it would be good to use a lawyer is if they pass those 6 months, then you have some kind of compensation. Obviously, we can go into this more into depth at another point, but it's good to mention these kinds of things. So there's pros to purchasing in pre-construction. There's also cons. We do our homework and make sure we do everything to the best of our ability to minimize those cons. If you're super freaked out and it's your first investment, and you say, hey, you know what? I'd rather just purchase something that's ready to go. That's okay too. We have lots of inventory here in Bayahibe and in Dominicus, lots of different things that you guys could purchase, something ready to go. You get your title right away and you don't have to worry about it. You use it right away or you rent it out right away. And that's a good way to go too. People do enjoy these construction projects because you have really modern things, really amazing things on the market right now that are really just kind of throwing the market for a loop just because they're amazing new designs and they're amazing prices and super modern, blah, blah, blah. So it is super interesting to take a look at some of the projects. Now, if you would like to know what kind of projects we have on the market right now, you guys can always go ahead and check out our website. It's tropicalrealtydr.com. You can always see project information there. You can also see our inventory, or you can email us or call us. We can send over brochures, send over details. We always can set up a Zoom call. I love setting up Zoom calls with people so I can really sit and explain, have kind of a little one-on-one, take a look at what we have in the market. So that's the deal. I think we've chatted enough. I hope this helped you guys out. Please go ahead and share this video with any of your friends if you have people looking to invest in the Dominican Republic, and make sure you get in touch with us with more of your questions, because I want to do videos where I'm answering your actual questions about investing down here. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much, and we will chat with you soon. See you for the next one.